So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 4 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I wanted to talk about today includes upload speed update when sharing content on PlayStation 5, God of War Ragnarok sales numbers, visual sharpness upgrade has been tested on consoles with FSR 2.1, and the first official image for the Gran Turismo movie. First, yes or no, have you finished God of War Ragnarok or not at this point? I've been seeing people on my timeline throughout the weekend saying that they finished the game, but I'm still here working on these side missions and, taking my time with the main mission, main story. I'm not in a rush to finish it, but of course, that's just me. What about you guys? So comment below yes or no if you finished God of War Ragnarok or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, God of War Ragnarok sales. Reading from Forbes, early numbers are starting to come in for God of War Ragnarok, and with a bunch of qualifiers, things are starting to get a little crazy. Sony seems poised to have a monster hit on its hands. The top line from a recent report on UK box sales indicates that God of War Ragnarok is blowing past the sell-through pace of 2018's God of War. God of War Ragnarok will debut at number 1 and is the first cross-gen title in the series. GFK boss Dorian Bloch told GamesIndustry.biz day 1 physical sales were already greater than any other full week launch sales for other titles in this franchise, as in God of War Ragnarok just outsold God of War's first week in a single day. Yes, the qualifiers here are that it is A, just physical sales, but that almost makes it more impressive given that players have shifted even more so to digital in the last 4 years, and B, this is just in the UK, but the implication is that if this is widespread, Ragnarok is going to be one of Sony's biggest hits, in addition to its sky-high review scores that have made it a gaudy contender facing off in a tough fight against Elden Ring. So it's definitely impressive, but I'm not as surprised. If you've seen the trailer view numbers for anything that dropped related to God of War Ragnarok, it was always in the millions. People have been waiting for this game for some time now, and adding that it scored in 94 on Metacritic and OpenCritic, that pushed that hype level even more so for a lot of people. I had friends asking me how I'm enjoying God of War Ragnarok, and I honestly don't remember the last game they've done something like that. Now, diving into the second story of the video, the first official image of the Gran Turismo movie. Reading from Comic Book, the new Gran Turismo movie has begun filming and an image from the production has been released. PlayStation has been planning out a lot of cinematic adaptations of its biggest franchises, while some of the most likely candidates such as Uncharted and The Last of Us were prioritized. Others like Gran Turismo have also popped up, much to the surprise of everyone. Sony got District 9 director Neil Blomkamp, hopefully I said that correctly, to helm a Gran Turismo movie, and it sounds like it actually has a lot of potential. The movie is now filming after assembling a star-studded cast with actors like Orlando Bloom, Stranger Things star David Harbour, and even a member of the Spice Girls. The first image from the film has been released, and while you can't see much, you can still see a handful of cars lining up on a starting line with a clapperboard in front of them. The movie has reportedly been shooting for a while now, but this is the first image and official confirmation of it. Sony also confirmed the movie is based on the true story of Gran Turismo player Jan Martin Burrow, who won a PlayStation competition and became a professional driver. It should make for a rather interesting story. So not really much to add to this. I'm really curious to see how it turns out, and since this is based on a true story, I wonder what possible sequels could come out of it, if any at all. I guess we'll find out how this turns out August 11th 2023, which is when it drops in theaters. But you guys let me know if you're interested in watching the Gran Turismo movie or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the third story of the video, upload speed update. So this is just a story I'm adding myself as someone who shares a bunch of content on the PlayStation 5 for a while now. If you've been recording a short clip on your PlayStation 5 and sharing that to the PlayStation app, it would take a ridiculously long amount of time for that thing to render. Not all the videos, but a good chunk of these videos would still take a long time for them to render, and sometimes I'll come back the next day and I'll still see the video rendering on the app, and then I would just forget about it or try to share it a different way by putting my USB into the PlayStation 5 and taking out the video like that. that and sharing it via my iPad or something along those lines. But recently, I've been taking more videos with God of War Ragnarok, obviously, and have noticed videos rendering very quickly, way faster than before, and no videos have been stuck on that rendering issue like before. Not one, not from the videos that I've shared, and I've put up a bunch on the PlayStation app for God of War Ragnarok, and I haven't seen one stuck on the rendering issue. I noticed on the store there was an update that went live 11 hours ago as of writing the story, which states this update includes fixes and performance improvements. Recent updates include improved search, find games easier, light mode. We've made it easier for you to use the PlayStation app in daylight. When light mode is turned on, your PlayStation app's appearance changes to a light background with dark buttons. So it seems like here it got some performance improvements, but my experience was already better before this update went live. But the last performance improvement, according to the version history for the app on the iOS store, was months ago. But I'm thinking what's happening here is that something on Sony's end changed, something where you're sharing the video from the PlayStation 5, it's going to Sony servers and rendering on the app. Something changed in this process that it's made it a much better situation. So again, either way, if you use the PlayStation app often to share videos, it's gotten noticeably better. And now diving into the final story of the video, visual sharpness upgrade tested. So we've been talking about FSR 2.0 or 2.1 landing on PlayStation 5 with Cyberpunk 2077, the first game on PlayStation 5 to get it. It was recently tested by Digital Foundry, and I got a chance to walk through that video. Here are some of the highlights. Overall, better image with visuals providing a sharper picture thanks to FSR 2.1. According to Digital Foundry, in about every case, FSR 2.1 provides for a clearer image compared to what they were using before implementing FSR. This is the case in static shots, in motion, etc. Overall, it's a better image. They do state the image quality upgrade is more noticeable in the 30 FPS ray tracing mode, which runs natively at 1440p, but then upscaled to 4K, which looks, again, noticeably sharper than before. The performance mode also gets a visual sharpness bump, but not as noticeable as the 30 FPS ray tracing mode. And in terms of FPS for the performance mode, it varies. It's not a rock solid 60 FPS. So the gist seems to be that the ray tracing mode got the biggest visual bump, and the performance mode also got a visual bump, but it's not as noticeable as the 30 FPS mode. And in terms of FPS, the performance mode runs similar to before. This was interesting to read because you'd think it would be easier to hold 60 FPS, but according to Digital Foundry, the native rendering targets for Cyberpunk 2077 have not changed from before, which is probably why the FPS counter isn't as solid in performance mode. FSR is meant to allow you to lower the native resolution to free up resources to allow for better FPS numbers, but it wasn't used like that here, it seems. Regardless, overall, you get a better, sharper image all around, so that's a plus. I'm looking forward to seeing more games get FSR 2.0. But you guys let me know if you're thinking of playing Cyberpunk 2077 after this update or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun. Down in the comments below if you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is the body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with, it is a new week. Now that God of War Ragnarok is out in the wild and people are enjoying it, who knows what's next from Sony? Now they've got their big holiday juggernaut out and people are playing it. So if you're excited to see what Sony has in store, destroy the comment section with, it is a new week. And I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.